Hey guys, what's up? We're gonna build this 6 mag pistol pack. It's built a little differently than I normally do things. We've built a few dozen of these and they're already up on Quick Ship. They have sold out every time we've listed them. So I'm gonna show you how we build this today, and we're just gonna run through it right here. It basically just holds 6 pistol mags. It's pretty rigid. You can Velcro it into the back of a bag or a backpack, or you can remove this. Typically, stuff you Velcro onto things, you're gonna put the hook. I intentionally put loop on this, and then we made double-sided Velcro so that you could pull this off of here and then carry it around, not have it stick and grab things. You can also put patches on the back. You can use that. It ships with double-sided Velcro. You can stick 2 of them together to carry 12. You could even put a Velcro handle or whatever in there. But that's what we're gonna build right now, and you guys can see how we make this if you wanna make your own. I'm gonna start off, I've got a couple pieces of material. We've got Cordura front and back, and we're going to look at the pieces here. Which side is the exposed side? This side has way more pattern. That's gonna be the outside. This piece has way more pattern, and then we're gonna cover half of it. So which side has the better pattern? That will be the top half. So I'm gonna start by just sewing this on here right now. Right there. And I'm gonna actually sew this all in red thread, but I'm gonna do all the pre-sew in black. It's just more forgiving. No, not at all. Not at all. I actually wish it was a little harder to sew through. Okay, which side do we like best? Because that'll be the exposed lid. I like that pattern a lot, but there's a lot of lacking, so we'll use this one as the top. And then on the inside exposed piece, we'll use this side right here. Whatever you're using to stiffen yours inside, you could even pre-glue them if you wanted to, kind of laminate them. I know they've got some laminating material as well that you iron in there. It kind of heat activates the glue. I've not ever used any of that. I know guys are doing like small batch Cordura lamination. I've only seen it on like a couple videos here and there, so I don't know how well it works or what kind of mess that makes. I don't know. All right, again, that's the cover piece. That's the inside here. Let's go ahead and fab up this piece. I'm gonna make my hem here just a little past a ½ inch. The reason I hem this over here is because this will be the top where the mag goes in, and it gives me 3 layers, and it's a little stiffer, holds its shape a little better. I see companies that edge tape the top. I see guys that, you know, we're using laminate stuff that, you know, don't do anything with the top edge. I like having that extra there. I'm just kind of pushing this in. What I'm after is I want this raw edge right in the bite there. So this top stitch catches 3 layers of material is what I'm after. Now from there, you could just go down 2 stitches. I'm going to just simply disconnect and come right back and run the same direction here. Sewing black on this, inevitably, you start feeling good and you're like, I can run fast. And when you do that, you won't catch that same stitch line. You'll end up with 2. Now, dark color on dark color, you don't really see it, but when you start sewing contrast color thread, it's very glowing. It's like a strobe light when you miss that same stitch line, which you can see right here. I did miss the stitch line. You can see what I'm talking about right there. And my intention actually was to sew this with red thread. I just was going to do all my pre-sew stuff first, so let's go ahead and switch. I was going to do Bentley stitching in this, diamond pattern stitching. I was going to quilt this, which you'll see here in just a minute, but let's go ahead and switch over to red, at least for the primary thread. This thread is, well, it's red. That's all you need to know. It's red. They want all the secrets. They can buy them somehow.
Add $500 in water and then put it in the order notes.
Guys do that, like secret menu shit, and we do it. Like, I am very bribable. No, we do, like, you see guys with some crazy shit because that's what they did. They ordered something more expensive and then asked for something different, or put a, you know, you can tip on there. They used to control how much could be tipped. It was just like a percentage. I don't know if that's still the case. So these cells are 4 inches for the pistol mags. Because of the way I'm sewing them, they do not need to be 4 inches on a traditional pistol mag. And then I've got a 1/2 inch over here for the edge tape we're going to sew in. This will conceal in, so that's actually dead space. But 4, I'm usually 3.5 on a pistol cell. What am I marking here? Here I'm talking. Is that 4? Yeah. So typically I'm 3.5 from edge to edge, but because of the way I'm going to sew this, which makes it kind of pull in hourglass, the mags were a little bit tight, so that's why these are a little bigger. We don't typically use multicam black Velcro or multicam Velcro typically. I'm going to put it on this here. Let me get that red thread here pulled through. As you're pulling these, when you catch that knot where you tied that thread in, it'll stutter. It'll cut the shit out of you. So don't just be pulling this where it can rip through your fingers. I wrap it a couple times, and that keeps it from slicing my fingers open when I hit that knot if I'm not paying attention to it. It will, though. It can cut you literally to the bone. I cannot see that fucking where that light's like glaring off of there. There we go. And you can measure this, you know, put a line in the middle and draw where you're going to put this, or you can just kind of eyeball it. You'll get to the point where you can just eyeball it and nail it every time. I actually do want that closer to the edge. If you start using Multicam branded Velcros and webbings and stuff, you will see that they have the trademark on there. Maybe you want that, maybe you don't. You will also find that if you're cutting a bunch of, like these are 4 inches, you're gonna come up where you're gonna slice that in half. So you're gonna probably cut off a couple inches, throw that away so that you can get that branding if it matters to you. Also, when you use the branded edge tape, it's on one side, so you can conceal that, or you can have it where it says Multicam towards the outside of your project.
People are asking to keep it on it, like inroads, like taking
We used to, we don't, nobody really cares anymore. We really don't use it on much stuff. If I build custom stuff, I'll put it on there, but it's very expensive compared to, normal hook and loop.
your opinion, is it the same though? Quality and use?
The elastic's not. The elastic is pretty lacking compared to the other elastic that we use, but yeah, this stuff's pretty good. If you're a hobbyist buying this, you're most likely getting MMI Velcro and edge tape, which is good. There's a couple other games out there, but you're probably not getting that unless you're buying it in really bulk. So you're buying pallets of it and stuff. I always say we're gonna sell raw goods, but it's such a hassle, man, just to box up a yard of edge tape. Or I see guys like, more power to them, man, but if that's your business model, like we'd have to have a whole nother area in the shop to warehouse, to hold the inventory. We'd have to have a whole different cutting area.
And an entire person just controlling that.
Yeah. Every time we hire a real person to, do shit like that, we end up giving them a real job. Not that the guys doing that is not a real job for them, but we end up using them to get more SOE product out. They're always like, you should hire a customer service person. Every time we do, man, we give them a fucking job that gets 40, 50 more orders out a day. Even this out. When I started sewing, I didn't travel across here. All right. This is something I do not normally do on any of my pistol mag pouches. I did it on here really for looks, and it'll pull the pouch in tighter when not in use. And that is, I'm just going to bring these over and I'm going to sew right on the edge of this. It is a lot more work to do this For function, there's really no reason to do this. It's more for looks. I don't know. I mean, if you're a dude making shit and you do them this way and you have a reason why you do it, I'd love to hear it, but I don't think there's an end user benefit to it other than aesthetics.
Does that just give it that shape?
It looks pretty cool. Yeah, like this right here. Instead of it just being rounded cells, it pulls it back in, right? Kind of like an hourglass.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Looks nice. I assume most of the stuff like that's probably coming from China or somewhere. Like
Yeah.
we don't have time to sew shit like
And
that.
I get it makes sense if it's unloaded, but
Yeah.
I would assume if it's loaded all the time,
Yeah.
you can't tell anyway. So why does it matter?
I don't know. Look, it looks cool.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot faster to build 2 of these than 1 of these, because then I would just mirror them. I'd sew off of this into the next one and just keep flip-flopping.
And you'll be able to cut it apart as you go.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's the start and stop and pulling the thread out that takes longer than anything. Our guy's ordering all the parts for those double needle machines to move them out and make them wider. So we'll be able to sew that 3-inch webbing, the 3-inch strips we take and turn into the 1.5. We'll be able to do that in a single pass with the new attachment, the custom attachment that's being made.
So you should be able to basically just run rolls of it, so you don't have to and then put that to
Yeah, we'll cut 100% that time down to 30% in one pass. Yeah. Now that it saves a lot on labor, but like those machines, those 2 machines are $6,500 a piece before we make them work the way we want them to work. But it takes having to have somebody with skill that is doing something else in the building. It makes it so we can just have somebody push a button.
The only other sew factory around here is Carhartt, right? Like
In this town, yeah.
That's really nice sew factory, right?
Oh yeah, they just like they do such large batch. Like we have machines here that came from Carhartt, and we take most of the specialized shit, the brackets and stuff off, because we're just not running in that manner. We don't build enough of something to, justify that. They'll have an operator that'll run the exact same thing 1,000 times a day for an entire year, building, assemblies, pieces to something. You'll see I'm cutting these as 4. I can cut them straight across and just cut both with one cut, but then you have those little whiskers. If I cut them top bottom as individuals, then there's nothing to clean up there. There is no little whiskers left remaining.
I saw you saying was like I didn't understand cleaning it up like that until I went on the table for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why aren't they just clipping this?
Yeah, because they're already clipping it, right? So if you just clip it flush,
it just seems so much faster right here because you're already pulling using that needle.
You would think, man, we have people that still can't fathom it. So there is the 6 pistol mag cells. All right, let's switch this over through the magic of media. We now have all of our marks there. Switch this one out to red. Maybe. Something is going on there. All right. I'm gonna open the stitch pattern up a little so the stitches are larger. Yeah, there we see them. Doing this, you might actually want to even move to a larger thread. I'm going to travel around and make these spaces wider because I don't want to just run all the way down and have it push the material and end up with a wave or a pleat at the end. So that's why I'm not sewing every one. I'm just kind of jumping around right now. This will lock that material into sections. And it'll have a lot less opportunity to shift. Now this is already pretty taut, pretty tight, because that material I put in the middle is very, very stiff, which will help. If you need to stiffen something and you don't have something stiff for a liner, we used to sew Velcro inside of things, just hook Velcro, wider the better, obviously. But that'll make things very stiff. You can also just find things that are stiff, cutting board material or just anything you have really that'll go inside there. Nowadays, you guys have all kinds of, shit that's purpose built for that. All right, now we'll go through and start closing up all those gaps. that underside sewing good. It is. I didn't check it to see if it was tensioned right, if it's locking properly. This in here, here, there, yeah. Oh, there's one more there. Okay. Looks pretty good. Now we're gonna have to shape it. Yeah, you won't see it. I'm gonna cover them up. All right, which piece is which? That's the lid. Yeah, that's the lid. Or is this is the lid? There's the lid. Okay. So I'm gonna dot these corners, and the way I do that is you can use 1 inch, 2 inch, whatever. I'm gonna go 1 inch and a half, 1.5, and 1.5. Sharpen this pencil up. There we go. And so that they are always the same, you can use whatever you want. This is what we use in the shop. That way everybody's radiuses are all the same. I just use the base of the thread. Just like that. when I'm cutting through scuba webbing, because we put scuba webbing in the base here on stuff a lot of times, like on the war bags, that's so that it's super stiff. So when we go to rip this open, it rips all across all at once instead of just peeling a piece of it. And the scuba webbing that we're currently using is so stiff that it will break these scissors. So we use a heavier shear. I get a shear off Amazon. I've never even seen them before, but they've got a massive handle on them so I can get my hands in and out without having to pull them off. And they have little micro serrations on the blades, and they cut really, really well. They're about $15. I don't remember the name of them, but if you want that, I'll put that in the comments if you ask for it. So there's that. This quilting it like that really puts the stitching together. You don't get any material move. You can see right here, you get a little tiny bit, but if you don't laminate it, there's no way around that. Let's go ahead and get rid of some pieces here. This shit is all stuck together. Let's go ahead and make our double-sided Velcro. I think you can buy double-sided Velcro, but typically like one wrap, it's gonna be loop on one side, hook on the other, but I do think that you can order hook and hook. But because you're probably already working with it, it'll be less cost outlay to just sew two of them back to back. This is 4-inch Velcro. I did see that on some of these, when you go to rip them off, they pull apart. So we've started putting an X in the middle of these. Now, of course, you could continue and travel around, but that one stitch line will be a lot brighter than the others. So I have separated and I'm just sewing them independently. We'll go in here, 3 or 4 stitches, tack it. Just like that. These, I've never seen printed hook Velcro. I don't know if it exists. I've never seen it. You typically don't see the hook Velcro, so it'd be a lot of cost to use it if it existed. I'm gonna go up here 1.5 inch. This is just a guideline as to where I'm going to sew this Velcro on. And again, it's printed right. This is the bottom, so I want the orientation to where I can read this. So I'm going to put it on in this manner here. When you stop, your needle should be down. Mine's not. There it goes. it just takes away the ability for that project to move, and you get a stitch that's longer or shorter because the project moved some. I didn't pay attention to that. I would have preferred to have this branding way over here, but it'll work. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I've not even changed the cone up top. I'm running off of a couple that I brought out off of my other machine inside. Ooh, yeah, there's not gonna be enough there. Are you hitting those light heads? Those things are huge. I don't know if I like it. I think I like it.
Do you think you do?
I think I do. All right, let's wind this. That was all of it. I'm giving it all she's got. Is that Star Trek? Scotty from engineering. It's Star Trek. These youngsters, they'll never know. They don't have Star Trek. They've got like gay animation and Star Wars that they watch. They have fucking SpongeBob is the best cartoon they ever had. The best level of animation. They have no idea, man. That's a good question. I don't know. I need to get that service that just goes through and cancels all your subscriptions.
Yeah.
Like I was paying $450 a month for cable packages, and we hadn't seen, I don't think the TV, there hadn't been a television turned on in 8 years. Whenever the last Conor McGregor it wasn't Pacquiao, it was Conor McGregor and someone. Maybe that's the last time the television was turned on. I don't know. I didn't have the big couches yet. We still had like cloth couches up there, so I don't know when that was. Ooh, I'm way off on this. I can't see it because there you can't see it. I'm gonna have to take that off of there. That's not good. Ooh, I'm gonna mess this up. I'm gonna leave it. I don't want to nick one of those other stitches. That's what happens when I'm talking, complaining about cable prices.
Can't see it from this side though.
No, you won't see it from that side either. Nobody will notice it unless they see this video and have this in front of them. I'll put this up for sale tonight during the video. Somebody will buy it. I'll be totally stoked with it. probably should not be sewing this here in red. Let's see how it looks on the other side going through all those other red lines. Looks okay. I should have done it in black, but it's pretty fly. All the girlies say.
That have weird color combos, like super string.
Yeah, there are some. There's some guys that like to put toxic thread on like Tropic or on ATAX Ghost, not Ghost, ATAX IX. We've got some dudes that order that. But I mean, it sounds weird at first, but when you see it, it actually looks really good. Like, I don't like orange at all on anything, but when we put orange on Woodland, it looks really, really good. Yeah. And it's
the orange tag.
And it's cool enough that it's unique. You see it, but 5-6 feet away, you don't notice it. You don't see it. So if you had to really use it for, real, it'd still function. Your backpack, your covert backpack. Yeah. I didn't realize, when you said brown, I didn't realize I had a brown one on the wall in there. I saw it later that night walking through there. Okay, there's that. Now we're gonna put on the mag pouches and we're gonna edge it. Now these cells, we could do this footprint at 1.5, but I have done them all at 2 inches. So we're just going to make our marks, especially with this grid already on here. We don't want it to shift because you'll really see it as opposed to the other lines. These are just Crayola pencils. I like the Crayola colored pencils because they don't wipe off like chalk, but with a terry cloth or an abrasive towel or a pair of Levi's works really well, just some denim. You can wipe those marks right off of there. But this way, if you're working on a bunch of other things, the chalk tends to wipe off. The Crayola pencils do not. And you can get Rose Art and Crayola at Walmart. Rose Art are dog shit. You save a couple, like for real, you save a couple bucks, but when you sharpen the point and you go to use it, it just crumbles. Like you get same with lighters. You can get all kinds of lighters. You can save money not buying Bic lighters, but you cannot get a lighter that works as well as a Bic lighter. Just buy the Bic lighters. When you start doing this shit for real, if you do, you can buy them in trays of 50, and then you get them for considerably less. And you can buy a pack of 50 at in the cigarettes. Do they even have a cigarette section still at Costco and Sam's Club? But nowadays you can get them off Amazon too. I don't think that's a grocery store, right?
No, it's a restaurant. Like a buffet.
Got it. I went there years ago. We went to a Shoney's in Dixon for Thanksgiving, I think. Amanda and I, we didn't make anything. We didn't have people over. So we just look up what's open on Thanksgiving or what's open on Christmas Eve or even Christmas Day. We ate at Indian food once for Christmas Day because they were open. So we went to a Shoney's and it was absolutely fucking horrible.
Yep.
It was fucking, even the pie was not good. It was horrible. And we're sitting next to a bunch of old people just like hacking their heads off. Like, oh man, I'm going to leave here with like 20 fucking diseases, except they're probably all self-induced. So
My grandpa used to go like every Saturday morning, and if there was a cigarette like machine.
I see those for sale, man. I've thought about buying one.
For him and pull the little thing and then run it back to the booth.
Yeah. I'm not sure what else we could put in it for sale. There's this kid I follow. He's a grown ass man. He looks so young, and his name is Cole, and he sells oddities and stuff, like cool shit. And he had a chimpanzee head, and it would make a monkey sound, and it would turn its head. It's like an animatronic. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta have that. And a bunch of people are commenting. They're like, I got one. And he's like, it already sold. Can you tell me what it sold for? And he's like, $200. I'm like, oh my God, you ever get another one? I have to. It's like a life size. It's big and it looks like it's a real chimpanzee's head. It's so cool. Like old school animatronics.
Seems cheap. 200.
Yeah. They're coming out of like him and Mike Zone and all the oddities. They go to like different flea markets and towns and stuff, and the real big ones are like Round Top, Texas, and Brimfield is another huge one as you get further back east. And just like going to a proper antique market or antique show, there will be vendors at those shows that just specialize in that, like weird shit or old furniture or big pieces of furniture. So these guys buy them and then sell them in their stores, or now it's all Facebook. Like Mike Zone actually had a store called Obscura. He had that TV show. Oh, that's nice. So you don't, yeah, that's nice. I'm glad I put red on the bottom. Just checking to make sure those guys working next door don't mean anything. I'm going to tuck this one inboard just a little bit more so I have room to work the edge tape on the corner, because that's where I'm going to start and stop. Until you get good at pleating these bottoms when you do pistol mag cells or magazine pouches, sewing these across the Velcro does make these all fall pretty uniform. I pre-sew a lot of stuff at night and on the weekends. I know I give you guys a hard time about your TV shows and video games and shit, but the truth is I listen to a lot of YouTube stuff also, but I'm sewing while I do that. So I'll pre-sew a lot of stuff, but I hate putting the face onto the back. I make a lot of I'll blow out like 50 or 60 sets of pistol mags, like triples and quads and stuff. And because anytime we're out of them, they're always open inventory. You guys can order them. And then once we see an order, if we don't have it, we'll build a batch of 12 or 24. So I'll pre-sew a lot of that shit just in the evenings or after I work out in the gym in the morning or something. And then listen to content. But I don't like pleating the bottom. So I do like 90% of the work, and then I'll put it on one of the sewers' tables. They'll come in and have a stack of shit, and they'll put the faces on. And I hate putting labels on too. As you see, I have forgotten to put a label here. So let's go ahead and get a label on here somewhere. Where shall we put? We'll give them another square right here. Another rectangle. Should we do a Halloween product this year? Product line, a couple pieces or something? We're like half a month ahead on the artwork this time. Well, yeah, for $1,000, you better have fucking more light. I think those 2 lights cost $1,000. Yeah, because it's white. Yeah, it's gonna look super pink with those red lights you got down there. You're gonna not like it. No, you're gonna hate it because pink is sissy thing. Is that what we're gonna be? We're gonna be that old guy. My grandpa says crazy shit. Yeah, I need to have some more grandkids pretty soon before I'm too old to set them on the correct course. Their parents will ruin them. Yeah, do we want to edge tape this with red thread? You really probably don't want to.
So you're going to?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, of course we are. Of course we are. Because you'll have needle deflection sewing through all of this, right? You'll get some waviness, or the bottom won't tension properly. So this is what I was talking about with the branding on the edge tape, is on one side, and I want that side exposed. Well, the way they've rolled this edge tape on the put up, I have to pull edge tape off of here to flip it so that when this is closed, you can see that branding, which I do want to see. So you could also just sew the product upside down through the edger, but this is a little more forgiving this way. And I know, man, when you buy this edge tape, guys sell it by the yard. You pay a lot of money for this shit. I pay a lot of money for the rolls. The rolls are 250 yards. That's how they come. I think it's 250 yards on the put up. Much, much larger than any other edge tape we buy anywhere. So we just got cases of the more multicam black, and we got Woodland in motion on the way. But the edge tape is not as stiff It's not as easy to work with. And we have had some in the past that's just downright terrible. This is pretty good, the stuff they just sent us. Make sure your work is all the way in that guide. I put on edge tape by hand for years and years and years. I didn't even know this thing existed. And this is not a good one. You buy a proper edge taper, you're gonna pay hundreds of dollars for it. You're gonna get a good swing out edge taper or a custom attachment or something. These, I don't know what they are today in today's money. I guess we should find out because I need a few more of them. They used to be 35 bucks. You can just get them off Amazon. Most of them mount to dual holes. I've always just used a single. We should probably turn this over, make sure that it is tensioning properly, and it is. So I'm going to run all the way to the edge and needle strike just before that edge. And I'm going to lift it. I'm going to then lift the foot. I'm going to pop that edge tape up and I'm going to hold it down here and pivot it to the right. You can get a right angle binder. You can get binders that do this easier. I didn't know those existed until I already knew how to do this. And I'm holding tension back here. I'm also applying tension on the back of the edge tape. I'm kind of letting it slide through my hands. And especially coming into this turn here, I'm going to hold you want to make sure this doesn't shift also. Make sure you're in there pretty tight. You can use a screwdriver. Some sewing machines don't have this replaceable plate here. There's a plate under here that this threads into. If you just had the deck of the machine had some threads in it, be careful with that. Once you ruin that, you have to actually re-thread that and then run a bigger screw and, you know, find a piece that you can make work. I'm putting tension here, and as I'm going through that turn, I'm going 1 or 2 stitches at a time, and as it comes up, I am turning that work. I think I already messed it up. Let's get that back there, see what that looks like. I bet it's all boogered up right there. Yep, I messed it up right there. See it? It didn't lay down well there. Now the good thing about using colored thread is you see it really well. And if you take one of these little screwdrivers and if you sharpen that tip, you can pull these threads out one at a time. You can also pull it out, expose it, and then pull the threads through. And then work the top. I just don't want to mess this edge tape coming through here. That's why I'm going really careful with it. You could also just slice it with a razor, but then you got to pull those threads out of there one at a time, top and bottom, when you cut it. It makes more cleanup. And I'm right here in this branding. I don't want that chewed up. And I'm trying not to have to re-edge this whole project. Which a lot of times when you're done, you would have been better off just cutting it off and redoing it. Remember the haunted house guy?
Yep.
So he has moved. He bought out a haunted house somewhere in Tennessee here, huge. So he has moved to another location here. And it's a massive warehouse. It's huge. And they're setting up there now. It's supposed to be way bigger.
Where at? Like, close to you?
Minutes from here. Closer to us than he was.
Able to see that?
Yeah, for sure.
Here on the square.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still calling it that.
Yeah. Are they still running that one?
No, I don't believe so. Okay, so where I'm over sewing this, because I already have some stitches in here, it is definitely going to be brighter. You will see that tie-in. So. Much better. Still. That side went way better. Now, when you end, you can cut enough that you can just tuck it up and do it flush. That is not what I'm about to do here. Make sure this bottom piece is proper and it didn't like kick it back, folded. So make sure it's in there. The underside is what I mean. How does that look?
That's the coat.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty okay. All right, now we'll go ahead and put that second line in there. Man, that is very unforgiving. Still looks pretty good. Okay, don't video that side. we go. So 6 mags, multicam black, diamond stitching. We do not make these this way. I made this one this way. I will probably show this on video and sell it. By the time you see this video, this one will, I'm surely be gone. I do a live every night at 9 o'clock on this YouTube channel, so join on. And we show what we made every day, show what's available, show what's on the sewing machine, so what'll be coming up over the next day or two. And then we just have a conversation about whatever whoever's on there wants to talk about. So easy way to get on there and talk and get interaction. I don't know any other CEOs of any companies or business owners where you can actually sit down and have a two-way conversation. For sure, there's other dudes that do lives, but you won't get as much interaction as you do on our nightly videos for sure. So there is that out. Let's burn this one.